I am Jen McLellan with Plus Size Birth. Plus Size Birth, my tagline is love your body, love your birth. So it's all about learning to love your body that you're in today. Whether you love who you are today and what you look like today, or you want to change it, you are who you are today. So let's learn to love your body, and then let's also learn tools to have a healthy pregnancy and an empowered birth. I was pregnant, and we'd been married a little while and found out we were pregnant. So excited. And then I opened up the internet, which I think most pregnant women do, and most of the information I found was really negative. It was really disappointing and really disheartening to read that I would have gestational diabetes, that I would have a C-section, and I was raised by a mom who had natural childbirth and breastfed forever, so I just thought that's what you did, and I didn't realize that because of my weight, I was going to have these obstacles. And I also read that I was a really horrible person for getting pregnant overweight, which was devastating. But I'd been overweight my whole life, so I wasn't gonna allow this to change my plans. And I worked hard, and I ate a healthy diet. I found a midwife, I hired a doula. I fell in love with water aerobics. I did water aerobics 3 times a week my entire pregnancy, and I had a really healthy experience. And then a beautiful birth experience. So I had the natural childbirth that I had, dreamed of having. And after I, got into mommy land, as I like to call it, and kind of got used to that, which you never really do, but once I started sleeping again, I wanted to tell my story. I wanted other women to know that all that negative stuff didn't have to be their journey. And so I started it, and I wrote, What is Plus Size Mommy Memoirs? Was my first article. And I wrote once a week, and it just caught on. And women started finding me and realizing that they weren't alone. And it just really became this beautiful community that has just kept growing and evolving, and I feel so blessed that I wanted to share my story, and I've met so many amazing women, and I've heard so many beautiful stories, but also so many tragic stories. And I think it's the tragic stories that push me to work even harder. So it's been an amazing journey. I have a list of almost 300 doulas in 5 countries who self-identify as size-friendly and work with women of all shapes and sizes. I actually gave birth on my knees, which was really empowering. It wasn't at all what I envisioned birth to be, but my midwife said, okay, climb up on your knees, and I did. And there was something so powerful about being in that position and birthing my son, and my husband actually caught him. We were in a hospital and all these things happened, believe it or not. But I realized that my body was capable of doing really anything that I had set my mind to. And it changed how I felt. I grew up in Southern California, where beauty is, a tough place to be a fat girl, basically. And it was always a struggle of mine. And to know that I am beautiful, and I am strong, and I am capable of doing really anything, that it changed me forever. And I became a mom, so you're changed forever after that, no matter what. Well, there's definitely a stigma against women of size. I mean, I don't really need to say much about that, more than, people view fat people as lazy and capable of doing things, ugly, a lot. I think the word fat usually goes combined with ugly, and unworthy. So those are the stories that women have been told their whole lives about how they should feel about themselves when they're overweight. And a lot of them do feel that way. I personally self-identify as fat. And that was a journey for me. It's plus size mommy memoirs, not fat mommy memoirs. But I realized that when you take back the word fat, and I am fat, there's no denying that, but if I'm able to own that word, then when someone calls me fat, it's not a negative thing. It's just a part of who I am, but it doesn't define me. Storytelling is a big piece of it. I think we all relate to stories that we can hear from women who we can identify with. So stories, a lot of visuals, images of women of size. It has been great because, especially during pregnancy, you know, we go online and we see these images of these perfect Caucasian women and their gorgeous round bellies, and that's it. And that's what society tells us pregnancy is. And that's so far. I mean, yes, there are those women, but there are women of all different shapes, sizes, colors, ages who are pregnant, and we don't see those images. So articles, images. I'm certified as a childbirth educator now, so I'll be rolling out new curriculum specifically for plus size women around pregnancy and birth, and also speaking and sharing my story and sharing tips on how to find size-friendly providers and doulas and all that great stuff that helps a woman to feel really empowered during her pregnancy and her birth and postpartum as well. Absolutely. You know, plus size women often don't have maternity pictures taken. And I really encourage women, even if you never show these pictures to anyone, to have these photos taken. This may be the only time you're pregnant, and it's time to embrace your body. Your body is beautiful. You may have stretch marks and feel, oh, look awful, but I call them love marks because those marks are made with love. Your belly may be shaped in more of a B shape instead of a D shape, but you're growing life within you and your belly's beautiful. So that's what I tell women, is that, you know, you'll cherish it. And if you can find the right photographer that you can say, hey, I'm a little nervous about doing this, they're gonna take really good care of you. And you just have to trust in that and trust in your photographer and the experience, and you won't regret it. Trying to conceive can be a difficult time for plus size women. You go to your care provider and they immediately pull up the BMI chart, and that's all they're really willing to look at. So for most women, a care provider is telling them to lose about 100 pounds or more, which dramatic weight loss right before conceiving is actually more dangerous than getting pregnant overweight. So it is a story that women are told over and over again. I really encourage women to hire a size-friendly provider well before they're pregnant, and to know that you have the ability to fire a care provider. These people work for us, but we're told just doctor knows best, but not always, and doctors also have their own biases as well. And there's this new theory that some care providers are telling women, and it's the fat vagina theory, that our vaginas are too fat to birth a baby. And it's ridiculous, but I can't imagine how a woman feels being told that, and how that changes her birth, but how that changes her life, and how that changes what she tells her daughters about their bodies. So there's real danger there in the way that women are taught to perceive their bodies as failures, that our bodies are broken because we're overweight. And if we're able to change that, and if we're able to tell women that their bodies are actually capable of doing amazing things, and we learn how to be really healthy during our pregnancy and find a way to be physically active that is enjoyable, then we can carry that on throughout our lives and actually become a much healthier society, not only physically, but definitely mentally as well. One of the stories that will forever stand out to me is the story of Hillary. And Hillary went to her doctor for her first prenatal visit at 5 weeks pregnant. And her doctor said, you are too obese to have a vaginal birth, you will be having a C-section. And Hillary weighed 211 pounds. And that's tragic, because Hillary definitely could have had the birth that she wanted to have. But Hillary had a C-section because she didn't know that she had options and that she could seek another care provider. Well, Hillary's pregnant again, and she's hoping for a vaginal birth after a C-section because she knows now. And so not only has her story helped a lot of women, but it's also helped her too.